When I woke up this morning, I wanted to watch a horror movie. Went on Netflix and found that they had all four of the Insidious movies all on Netflix. So that at that exact moment, I realised what I was going to be spending my Easter Sunday doing. So before I get started giving my ranking of all the Insidious movies, make sure to click that subscribe button so you can come back next time I do a ranking. Next ranking is going to be the High School Musical movies. So if you want to see that kind of ranking, make sure to click that subscribe button. But if you're more of a horror fan, I will be doing all four of the Purge movies in the next week or so. So if you want to see that kind of video as well, do click that subscribe button. But now that you have all the information of what's coming up, let's go on to number 4. So coming in number 4, I do have Insidious 4. Insidious 4, I was kind of expecting it to be the worst movie going into it. Didn't look at any Rotten Tomatoes, didn't look at any kind of reviews, but just saying the idea of calling it the last key, it's the fourth one, I was kind of assuming it would be bad. And then after I kind of googled, it came out in January. It makes a bit more sense. The movie overall, the opening scene was kind of horrific to see, not because of any horror elements, it's because you see a dad beating up his daughter, which is just a horrific scene in general. But other than that, the horror elements aren't really there. They throw a lot of jump scares in there, and even though it's a jump scare, didn't really get me scared at all. It's telling an origin story for a character that I was interested in the first movie, wasn't that interested in the second movie, and by the third movie wasn't really interested to see anything more with her. But in the fourth movie, they decided to tell her a bit of her backstory, which I didn't care about. It kind of gives a lot of wink and nods to the first movie following the second movie. Like, you see where the lads get their shirts and tie. I didn't care where they got their shirts and tie. So it just kind of gives information, kind of filling out gaps between what happened within this movie and the first movie. It just kind of fills in gaps, which again I really didn't care about. So it's just a story that don't really care about, and just kind of keeps making you want to watch it even though you don't want to watch it. It feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. It's not really a horror, it's not really a trilogy, or it's not really a thriller. I just didn't really have any enjoyment watching this movie at all. I find the movie to be really stale. I find the ending to be really tacked on. I feel like the ending, they had to go, no, we need to do something better. We need to kind of go into the first movie a bit more. So the ending feels very forced, having the phone call at the end. This movie, it didn't really work for me. Coming in at number 3, I do have Insidious 2. Insidious 2, as it started off, I was kind of taken along with it. I was enjoying it. I thought the way the first movie ended set up this movie brilliantly, but the way this movie played out, it kind of dropped the ball massively. It had the opportunity to tell a great story of having them kind of realize that the father is not really the father, and I thought Patrick Wilson was able to play this kind of element really well, but I just think it kind of fell flat. It didn't really work for me as well. There's this massive side story that kind of takes up a good chunk of the movie, following the grandmother and the two lads, and then some other guy who I don't actually remember his name, but he's also in The Walking Dead for a couple of episodes. It goes off and does a side story with those, and at first I was like, okay, and then it kind of went on a bit too long. It got really boring, and a lot of it was kind of shown in a found footage kind of format, which I'm not really a massive fan of that kind of format. So I just kind of found the fact that that takes up a good amount of the runtime, I kind of found it a bit tedious. Wasn't really a massive fan of it. But as I said, Patrick Wilson is probably the best part about this movie. In rewatch, I'd say I'd only rewatch it if I was watching the first one and it continues on, because it continues on really well from the first one within the first half. I just don't really think it stuck the landing too well. And coming in number 2, I do have Insidious 3. Insidious 3, I was actually really surprised by, because when I started off, I found out it was a prequel. I was more thinking, why didn't they continue on what happened at the end of number 2, which I was actually kind of intrigued to see what was going to happen next rather than going back in time. But then as the movie played out, I actually kind of grown very fond of our lead character, the girl. I actually don't know her name. I think it was, actually no, I don't even know her name. But I was very fond of her, and I wanted to see where her story was going to go and see how her story was going to play out. Her father at first, I wasn't really a fan of him, but then he kind of turned around to me. I started to enjoy his character more. We do have the woman who, again, I don't know her name. It's Elise, I think her name was. She kind of carries on from the first and the second movie, as well as the two lads that come in, and it's kind of their origin story of how they became together, which I was actually fond of. As I started to play it at first, I was thinking, okay, the only reason they have these people here is just because you can make it an Insidious movie. But then as it played out, I was like, no, I like what's happening here. I really enjoyed the kind of element that they did play together. The relationship they have it's really good. As well, the supernatural element of this movie, it's not like massive, it's nothing jaw-dropping, it's not like it wasn't the first movie, but I think it was able to just do it really well. But the thing I didn't like about it was the ending scene with the guy with the big red face that was in the first movie. They did this at the end of the fourth movie too, where they just kind of make a flash of his face, not really a fan of that thing. I don't understand why they had to finish the third movie and the fourth movie the exact same way. It's just I didn't. It's I don't know. I don't know why they had to flash the big red face at us. I just thought it was kind of a really anticlimactic ending for this movie. And coming in at number one, I do have Insidious 1. One of my favourite things about watching this movie this morning was the fact that I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how the story was going to play out. I didn't know what was going to happen in the climax. So I was just kind of along for the ride, getting thrown into this universe, not knowing anything about it. And getting thrown into it, not knowing anything about it, was really good because this is a horror movie. I've never seen anything like this before. I don't know if there is anything else like this out there, but I just felt this movie to be so fresh. That's probably why watching all four of them in one day kind of made the last couple of ones really sour. But this movie was just, I actually really enjoyed it as well. Having Patrick Wilson in it, who I've seen in the Conjuring movies, in this movie, playing a very different character than he was in the Conjuring movies, was good as well. Rose Byrne really shocked me. I've only ever seen her in comedies, and then see her in this movie, I just thought it was really good. You got Ty Simpkins in this movie, who doesn't really do much. He's a kid from Iron Man 3, but I did enjoy his character overall. I found this movie to be really weird and creepy, and the main villain, who I said at the end of 3 and 4, the big red flashing face, he's creepy as shit. He doesn't really do an awful amount, but just the idea of his face is just creepy as hell. He's not one, like, I don't think I would buy a pop horror icon of him, but maybe if he was cheap I would. I don't think I'd pay full price, but I just think he's a very memorable creepy ass face. The way the movie ends, as I said, for the second movie, it goes straight perfectly into the second movie, and the second movie just kind of dropped the ball there. But the movie itself, I really enjoyed. Didn't think it was going to go the way it went at all. I was really shocked to see how it played out, and overall I just think this is probably the one. If I wanted to watch an Insidious movie, I will rewatch this one, and this is the movie as well. I'm actually considering picking this one up on Blu-ray because I just think it is the best out of them all by a good bit. I think it's the best by like a lot. So that's my ranking of all 4 Insidious movies. I don't know if there's been an announcement for Insidious 5. I don't think I would really mind an Insidious 5, but I don't really care if we don't really get one either. But make sure to click the subscribe button so you can come back next time we do a ranking, which will be the Purge movies, as I said at the start of this video. So if you want to see my ranking of the Purge movie in the next week or so, do click that subscribe button so you can come back. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below what your favourite Insidious movie is, and if you'd like to see an Insidious 5. And with all that said, thanks for watching.